What if I told you 3 astronauts went all the way to the moon, but their absolute greatest achievement was simply making it back alive? Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a thrilling true story of survival in the freezing depths of space. We are looking at Apollo 13, the mission that absolutely refused to fail.
What if the greatest victory isn't reaching your destination? Seriously, think about it. These highly trained astronauts went all the way to the moon, but just surviving the trip ended up being the real triumph. It totally flips our whole idea of success on its head, doesn't it?
Section 1. A routine mission to space.
On April 11, 1970, NASA launched Apollo 13 from Florida. And honestly, it looked completely routine. Millions of people watched this mighty rocket just disappear into the sky. But nobody watching could have ever imagined that just 2 days later, disaster would strike, forcing those exact same astronauts to face one of the greatest survival challenges in all of space history, before finally splashing down on April 17th.
Section 2. Houston, we have a problem.
Everything literally changed with a single, chilling sentence. Houston, we've had a problem. What actually happened? Well, an oxygen tank exploded inside the spacecraft. I mean, in the endless vacuum of space, it is really hard to imagine a more terrifying scenario than that.
That one explosion caused a total domino effect of failures. First, the power began to fail. Then, precious, life-sustaining oxygen was actively escaping right out into space. Obviously, the moon landing was immediately canceled. The mission just instantly shifted gears to one singular, urgent goal: bring the crew home alive.
Section 3. The fight for 20,000. They were more than 320,000 kilometers from Earth. To put that into perspective, at that unfathomable distance, there is absolutely no rescue mission coming for you. There's no spare spacecraft waiting in orbit, 0 second chances. They were entirely on their own out there in the dark.
To survive, they had to strictly conserve their essential resources. We're talking electricity, water, and oxygen. Because the power was failing, temperatures inside the spacecraft dropped so dramatically it basically turned their cabin into a freezer. Under those brutal conditions, every single decision became a literal matter of life and death.
Section 4. Engineering the impossible.
Meanwhile, back on Earth, the NASA ground crew was working frantically around the clock to solve a deadly problem: removing carbon dioxide from the cabin before it poisoned the crew. But they ran into a massive mechanical mismatch. The crew had square filters up there, but the backup system needed round ones. It's the literal definition of trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, except this time, you're in space.
So, what did they do? Engineers on Earth improvised this incredibly brilliant solution. Using only simple materials that were already available inside the spacecraft, they essentially created the ultimate earthly hack. And against all odds, it actually worked. They successfully adapted the filters and cleared the dangerous carbon dioxide, buying the crew precious time.
Section 5. The slingshot back home.
To get back to Earth, they had to pull off a flawless and, frankly, harrowing navigational strategy. First, completely abandon the moon landing. Second, fly around the moon. And third, use the moon's massive gravity like a giant slingshot to hurl the spacecraft back toward Earth. It was just a brilliant execution of orbital mechanics under the most intense pressure imaginable.
After nearly 6 terrifying days in space, the command module finally hit Earth's atmosphere. The friction of re-entry creates such intense heat that it causes a complete communication blackout. For several excruciating minutes, radio contact was totally lost. Back in Houston, Mission Control just waited. Complete, agonizing silence. Nobody knew if they had survived the fiery descent.
And then, the signal returned. The parachutes opened, blossoming right there in the sky. Apollo 13 splashed safely into the Pacific Ocean on April 17, 1970. Against all the impossible odds, they made it.
Section 6. The ultimate successful failure.
All 3 astronauts survived. So yeah, Apollo 13 never actually landed on the moon, but is still widely considered NASA's greatest success. Why? Because of teamwork, engineering ingenuity, and incredibly calm decision-making. It wasn't great because everything went perfectly according to plan. It was great because human intelligence and sheer determination turned a near disaster into this legendary survival story.
Today, Apollo 13 is remembered as absolute proof that even when everything seems lost, human intelligence and determination can overcome impossible odds. Because sometimes the greatest victory isn't reaching your destination at all. It's finding your way home. Are you ready to find your way home? I hope you found this explainer as inspiring as I did. If you enjoy true stories about space, history, and science, make sure you subscribe for more explainers just like this one. Thanks for hanging out, and keep looking up.